Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Darla and I'm going to be working in my front yard today, particularly in this flower bed directly behind me. But y'all, before I start on that flower bed, I have two specific things that I need to get done. I need to rake up the fallen oak leaves that have basically fallen all over my St. Augustine lawn. This will actually be the first raking of the year. And the reason why I do that very quickly is because there are so many leaves that have fallen predominantly over on this side of the property because my neighbor's oak tree, which are my in-laws, their oak tree leaves obviously have shed, and it looks to me like it's already starting to put on a lot of new growth, but I do believe that the blunt of those leaves have all fallen off the tree, and I need to get them off of my St. Augustine because while they have piled up and piled up and piled up, they will definitely suffocate my St. Augustine grass. They're not toxic to my grass, they will just simply suffocate it, and they will prevent me from being able to get proper water and fertilizer and air to that grass to make it look beautiful. So I always do a first big raking, and I take those leaves and I throw them in a big like bag or a sack or something, garbage can, and I save them for a little bit later on where I can start shredding them to using in my flower beds. So I want to go ahead and I want to do that. And then the second thing I want to do is I want to mow my yard. I want to mow it all in really nice. Now I have a mulching mower, so any residual leaves that will be, and there will be, a lot of leaves still on the lawn, I will go ahead and I will mulch everything up really good and crunch those leaves up good, thereby sending those nutrients back into my St. Augustine grass. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that first before we get into this flower bed where I can show you some. I'm actually very excited because I have been working on trying to figure out replacing a couple of shrubs in there with some other things. And so anyway, let me go ahead and get the leaves and the lawn mowed, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what new shrubs I'm going to be putting into this flower bed. Okay, y'all, I'm all finished with those two chores. Now, while the lawn mowing will continue, that will be a chore that will be weekly, or, as we go into the summer months, twice a week. But as for getting the leaves raked up in the grass, that is really super important, and I like to be able to try to get in front of that as soon as possible, because those leaves laying on my beautiful lawn will suffocate and it will eventually die. So I like to be able to get that initial layer, after we go through the winter months, I like to be able to get that initial layer of those leaves, those oak leaves, off the lawn. And then my mulching mower, because that's what I use, is a mulching mower, I will mulch those leaves, anything that's that's just kind of residual that's laying in there. It will mulch it up and it will crunch it down, and it will develop into beautiful nutrients for my St. Augustine lawn. But you've got to get those initial layer, that thick layer off of there first. So I was anxious to get that done. That is a chore that's done, and behind me I've got them all bagged up for me to be able to put away a little bit later. You can probably see it's very breezy, almost windy out here. It has been all week, and it's not optimal to be shredding leaves because it just makes a mess. I did it last year. Oh my gosh, I had like oak leaves soot up my nose. It was awful. So anyway, that's going to be put away for later, for another time. But I'm going to be focusing on this flower bed that I've got here right beside me, and I am very excited because for months now I've been thinking about what I could put in place of the Thyrella shrubs that I actually had in this front flower bed. For those of you who follow my channel, you might remember the video where I had two Thyrella shrubs in front of each of the queens. Now I have 3 queen palm trees that are in this flower bed, and I had 2 of those Thyrella shrubs directly in front of those. And I love those shrubs. They were absolutely beautiful, and I loved the way they swayed in the wind. They were heat tolerant. They were beautiful. They put on the most gorgeous long yellow spiky flowers. I'm going to pop up a picture in the corner of this video so you guys can see just how beautiful they were in this flower bed. But here was the problem. By the time they got looking really, really nice with those beautiful yellowy spiky flowers, they were too tall. I mean, they were topping out at 4.5, 5 foot tall, and it was just simply too large, too tall to be in this flower bed. And I hated it because they would just get gorgeous, and I'd have to come in and I would have to just like, hedge them back down, and then they would have to regenerate again. And by the time they got the flower, so you get what I'm saying. It was just a perpetual cycle. It was, they were short and they were the perfect size, but then they got tall, they got beautiful and the yellow spiky flowers, but again, then they were just too tall. So I ended up, and no matter how hard I tried, I thought, okay, take them down really super, super low, because then they'll put on, a lot of growth, and, maybe be about 3 foot tall before, and they'll start, like really spiking out. It didn't work for me. I couldn't get them to bloom as much as I needed them, or I know that Virilis can actually bloom. I could not get them to bloom beautifully for me at 3 foot. And maybe if I would have come out here and I would have tried to like sock them with fertilizer, but I didn't have the time to do that, and I didn't have the desire to come out here and fertilize any more than I already do. So I ended up pulling them all the way out and getting rid of them. And then as much as it broke my heart to do that, I did find something that I think is going to be the key to the mint, if you will. These beautiful gold mound Duranta. Now, I have these growing out in my, actually they're out in a small little flower bed close to the road, and I put them in about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. And they're absolutely beautiful. As a matter of fact, I'm going to walk you over there and I want to show you, because they're a little larger and they've been growing for a while, and I want to show you just how beautiful they actually are. So hold on one second, I'll walk you over there. Okay, here are the gold mound that I had planted in. There are actually 5 of them in this flower bed, and they are just scrumptious. I love them. I put them out here in this corner flower bed to kind of anchor this area. And it was kind of a border between my in-laws who live next door. There's a border. Let me see if I can focus in on that. There it is. I have a border that's right here that goes down, that separates the property line. But I needed something in here to, keep my St. Augustine grass from getting, weed and getting, not the behea, but what do you call that? That crabgrass. Oh, I can't stand that grass. But anyway, I wanted to keep that out as much as possible. So by creating this border, I was able to do that pretty successfully. I still have a little bit of tiny crabgrass that comes through, but I can control it now. But I put in this beautiful gold mound Duranta, and this one right here is not as big. I had a little watering issue, but I have no fear that he's going to come back as soon as I get him on a more regular watering schedule. And so he's a little smaller. He was put in actually as an afterthought. There was that blank space right here, and I thought, maybe it does need one more. So anyway, he's going to be perfectly fine, but he's a little guy right now because he just wasn't getting the adequate water that he needed. But these guys right here, they're absolutely gorgeous. Now, Duranta Gold Mound can take actually a full sun, which is, perfect for South Florida. They can take a full sun, or they can take a part sun. Now, the difference between being in full sun is, and I'm going to bring the camera in, they develop the most beautiful yellowy gold foliage. They do put on a little itty bitty tiny lavender flower. I don't have any on right now, but honestly, they're almost minuscule. You just really can't even see them, and they're really not the focal point of the plant. It's that beautiful yellowy gold leaf, the foliage with the little bit of like dark green in there. They're just absolutely scrumptious. Now these guys top out anywhere from 2.5 to 3 foot, which is perfect. I'm going to come down a little bit so you can see. So this is what they look like. I'm going to trim them up. They're just a little bit crazy right now. I'm going to kind of trim them in really nice, but as you can see, they're just so scrumptious, and they just will fit so beautifully in that front flower bed. So let's go back over there. These gold mound Duranta are going to be the perfect thing to put in the spot of the Virilis. I was just so excited when I finally figured out what I was going to put there. And as much as I hated taking the Virilis out, I just knew that it was going to be just so much better to, well, I was fighting them. I was fighting those Virilis. They put on their beautiful spikes, I'd cut them off. They put on their beautiful spikes and I'd cut them off. And I absolutely hated that I had to do that. But y'all, I really wanted something that was much more compact. That was something that's going to be in the 2.5 to 3 foot, something that didn't grow quite as rapidly. Those Thyrellus, oh my goodness, those were moderate to fast growers. These are more slow to moderate growers, and they're a lot easier to keep in check. And so I am really super excited to be able to plant these up in front of these queen palms. And you guys, the gold mound Duranta, they're very versatile plants as far as, you know, they grow beautifully in containers. You know, you can put them as accents in your landscape. Now these are going to be probably not so much as an accent. These are going to be more of a focal to draw your eye into the flower bed, which is really, really what I wanted to do, because my flower bed, you know, it's a very large kidney shape. And so I have a lot of things that are in the center, and namely my crotons. And I wanted something, again, that was going to be low, that when, you know, these particular gold mounds are going to draw your eye in, and then you will be able to look into the center of the flower bed. And that's what I wanted, from my front window of the house, you know, inside the house out, and then from the road in. And so I'm quite sure that I have been able to hit my mark with this. So they are very great as, you know, an accent plant, you know, as a focal plant, you know, container plants. So they're very versatile. They are zoned for a 10 and warmer because they do not like the chill. As a matter of fact, the ones that I showed you guys out there at the road, they do have a little cold damage on the leaves, but not to worry, because I will be able to shear that off when I go to trim those in real nice. And as far as the requirements, the care for these guys, again, you know, they like very warm climate. They like to be moist but not, you know, wet, so regular watering. They like to be fertilized to keep their nice green and, you know, yellow and green vibrant color. And so they will be getting fertilized actually where they are located, right in front of my queen palm. I won't even really have to necessarily just fertilize them separately. They're going to get fertilized with my queen palm tree, and they will do quite well with the fertilizer that I use for the palm tree. Matter of fact, it's the perfect blend, and that will be another video that I'll show you guys about fertilizing my palm trees. And so anyway, that's a whole nother animal. But they'll get fertilized about 4 times a year, and they'll get adequate water from my sprinkler system, actually, because we don't have irrigation in this flower bed, but they get irrigated from you know, from the grass or the landscape, I should say. We've got sprinklers all over in the landscape that go right into the flower bed, and I wasn't sure if that was going to work, you know, when we first did it that way, but it works beautifully. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get these guys all planted up, and we'll come back and we'll take a look at them. Well, you guys, it's all finished, and it was absolutely horrendous with those roots. Did you guys see those roots that I was breaking up? I usually am griping about the neighbor's oak tree roots, and I tell you what, there wasn't an oak tree root to be found around this flower bed. These were all my roots, all these queen palm tree roots. The queen palm tree, the palm tree roots or whatever, they're all the feeder roots that are on the top. And while they're, you know, small around and they're very easy to cut, they're massive. They're all tangled together. So when you hit that shovel in the ground, it's like hitting an oak tree root. But we ended up, or I ended up waiting for my husband to come home to give me a little bit of a hand. My arms and my legs are so sore from kicking that shovel. And I thought, well, there's got to be a better way. So he ended up going and getting the sawzall that we have and cutting those roots. And he actually dug the last 2 holes for me over in the back of the flower bed. So I did have a little bit of help, thank goodness, because I was a huffing and a puffing. But y'all, I could not be happier. I am loving these Duranta. Let me turn the camera around and show you how pretty they are. Okay, walking up to the flower bed, I've got 2 of them that are right here, and they are right in front of the queen. This first, well, you can see actually pretty good. I hope those 3 right there, hope you guys can see that shot. But these babies are large and they are in charge, and I love them. But now, at the bottom here, I'm in love. I'm in just absolute love. Look at how gorgeous these are. And they are going to get about 3 foot, 2.5 to 3 foot tall, and they will get about, I'm going to say probably about 24, about 2 foot wide, 2.5 foot wide is probably as well. I'm going to keep them trimmed up nice and neat and compact. And I'm almost at a loss for words because they are so beautiful. I only wish that I would have done this originally before I put the Thyrellus in, but I fell in love with the Thyrellus. They just, unfortunately, were just not the right spot for them. So now I've got these beautiful, beautiful gold mound Durantas. Let me walk around. I was cleaning up the flower bed a little bit in between resting. I've got, you know, some crotons. I've got arboricola in there. Look at how beautiful that arboricola sticks out. I love to bring that creamy, yellowy white color into the garden because it's another one that really draws the eye in. But there's my copper bush, my beautiful, look at the beautiful rusty color on that. It's just magnificent. And, you know, obviously the more sun they get, the more deep in color they get. But moving around to more of the Duranta, here are the 2 that I have in place in front of this beautiful queen palm. And I am loving that you can already see into the flower bed, and just knowing that these guys are not going to get any bigger than you know, the 3.5 or the 3 foot, 2.5 to 3 foot mark. Just it excites me. It really does, because it's going to be you know, you're going to be able to see in to that flower bed just so beautifully from not only the road but from my living room window, and that just makes me very excited. So walking around the back half here, of course, another arboricola, and another video, you guys, I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be planting up these beautiful bromeliads. Look at the color. I've been just kind of purchasing them like about 2 at a time because these little guys are they're expensive. And the more the vibrant the colors are, and you know, exotic looking they are, the higher the dollar amount is. So I've just kind of been collecting them, and I've been putting them underneath of this pygmy date palm. Actually, let me go up a little bit. Here is a 3-trunk pygmy date palm, and she's a beauty as well. She sits just underneath of the queen palms. Look at that beautiful breeze blowing. Oh, I just love it. This is what tropical gardening is all about. I absolutely love it. I'll have to remember this and look at this video when it's 95 degrees and 90 the humidity's at 90%. But anyway, you guys, I'm going to be doing a video about these bromeliads, so stay tuned for that. But coming around the back side of the flower bed, I hope you guys are able to see this, okay? I've got landscape lights in there that I think it might be creating a little bit of a shadow or streaking, and I hope it doesn't too much. But here are the other 2 Durantas, gold mound Durantas. Now these are the two that I was talking about that probably won't get quite as much sun, but I'm not concerned about that. So I am very excited that this flower bed turned out as beautifully as what it did. Just here's the back side. Again, I've got to do just a tiny little bit of trimming. That croton, I'm sorry, that copper bush right there is a little too tall, so I'm going to be trimming him down. So I hope you enjoyed this video, you guys. I am so excited that I was able to replace those Thyrellus with these beautiful gold mound Durantas, and I'm looking forward to going into the summer months and not have to be, trimming on them all the time to get them to stay low to be able to see into this flower bed. So again, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please click that subscribe button, and we'll plan on seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.